First important I need know, in addition comfort with him, you tell him from me that he can live or he can die. Vincent, will you shut up in 2020? Al Pacino's coronary heart stopped beating. Paramedics introduced him, returned, however. Something changed forever. At 84, the person who gave us The Godfather lives a life nobody expected, broke after dropping $50 million doing movies he hates to live on and turning into a dad at 83, with a female friend younger enough to be his granddaughter from DNA test drama to his darkish ideals about death. Here's why. Hollywood's best actor is now its loneliest. Al Pacino became born on April 25, 1940, in East Harlem, New York City. His parents, Rosa Girardi and Salvatore Pacino, have been Sicilian immigrants trying to construct a lifestyle in America. Their marriage did not final lengthy. While Pacino turned into simply 2 years vintage, his father left for California to work as an coverage salesman that left Pacino's mom to improve him on my own within the South Bronx. With the help of his grandparents, Kate and James Girardi, they had come from Corleone, Sicily, a town that might later emerge as famous because of the Godfather existence. In the Bronx throughout the 1940s and 1950s became difficult. His circle of relatives struggled with cash, and his father's absence created a gap that never surely closed. However, his mom gave him something that would shape his destiny. She loved films and often took him to the theater, where he were given lost in the tales on screen appearing involved him even before he understood what it truly became. The one's early journeys to the films planted a seed that could later develop into a lifelong ardor. As he got older, Pacino became referred to as Sonny among his buddies. He had a wild side and changed into, continually pushing limitations. By the point he changed into 9, he had already began smoking and drinking. Via 13, he became experimenting with marijuana. He had little hobby in school and became constantly in trouble fights, skipping class and breaking regulations. Became a ordinary. He was expelled from multiple schools earlier than entering into the High School of Performing Arts. It appeared like the right region for a person like him. However, he failed to stay long. At 17, after a combat together with his mother about his future, he dropped out with no excessive school degree and no steady process. He spent his teenage years drifting. He ran with an institution of friends who, like him, had no actual direction. Some got into troublesome, became to drugs. 3 of his closest buddies, Cliffy, Bruce, and Pike, could later die from drug overdoses. Pacino should have, without difficulty, ended up the identical manner. But something kept him going. Performing became an escape. A manner to cognizance, his restless energy on something larger than himself. He later stated that if it weren't for acting, he won't have made it out at all, then got here the losses that modified him forever. In 1962, when Pacino turned into just 22, his mom died. At the age of 43, she had struggled with depression for years, and her dying hit him more difficult than something earlier than only a year. Later, his grandfather James, who had been like a father to him, additionally handed away in the span of a year. The 2 most vital human beings in his life had been gone. He later known as that time the bottom factor of his existence. He felt misplaced, like there was nothing left to hold directly to. A few years later, in his memoir, Sonny, Boy Named After, the nickname his mother gave him, he wrote approximately his ache. If I am fortunate sufficient, possibly I'll reunite with my mother there. All I need is the chance to walk as much as her, and honestly say hello, Marcy. What occurred Tom after losing his mom and grandfather. Pacino threw himself into acting. It wasn't clean. He took any job he may want to discover: janitor, busboy, messenger, postal clerk. Simply to pay for performing lessons, he studied at HB Studio in Greenwich Village, wherein he met Charlie Elton, an acting trainer who would become considered one of his closest mentors. However, cash became constantly a trouble. There had been nights when he had nowhere to go. He slept on friends' couches, sometimes even in theaters when he had nowhere else to live. Throughout the early 1960s, he became so broke that he needed to sleep on the streets, at the same time as taking some small roles he may want to locate in underground theater productions. Al Pacino's profession took a main flip in 1968 while he starred in the Indian Desires, the Bronx and Off-Broadway play written through Israel Horovitz. It premiered on January 17th on the Astor Place Theater in New York City and ran for 177 performances. His portrayal of Murph had an uncooked power that felt risky. Yet unusually human, he wasn't just gambling a violent troublemaker, he becomes showing the layers below the aggression critics took word, and so did the enterprise he received. The Obie Award for First Class Actor, his co-celebrity, John Cazale, received fine. Assisting actor and Horowitz obtained one for high-quality new play something even more critical occurred. Behind the curtain, The Indian Desires, The Bronx was staged along any other Horowitz play. It's called The Sugar Plum, starring Jill Clayburgh, who become Pacino's romantic companion at the time. Through this manufacturing, Pacino met Martin Bregman, a person who would trade his existence. Bregman saw something special in him and became his supervisor. He could later help Pacino land a number of his most iconic roles in The Godfather, Serpico, and Dog Day Afternoon. However, Pino later said that, without Bregman, his profession may not have took place the manner it did. Just a year later, Pacino made his Broadway debut, Indos, A Tiger Ware, Anecti, the play. Written via Don Peterson, opened at the Belasco Theater in 1969, it instructed the story of youth drug addicts in a rehabilitation, middle-tackling themes of dependency and redemption. Pacino performed Bickham, a afflicted younger addict with a tough outdoors. Hiding deep emotional wounds, the production's simplest ran for 39 performances after 9 previews, but it left a lasting impact. Jack Kroll from Newsweek referred to as him a hood with a poetic soul variety, named him the maximum promising new Broadway. Actor at just 29, he gained the Tony Award for Exceptional Featured Actor in a play that moment modified. The entirety Pacino's capability to bring so a good deal intensity to his roles got here from years of training he had studied underneath Lee Strasberg. On the Actor Studio in New York City, one of the maximum reputable performing schools within the global Strasberg, became a grasp of method acting coaching actors to force it into their very own feelings to create realistic performances. Pacino later said that schooling with Strasberg gave him the confidence to pursue in full-time. Al Pacino's journey to playing Michael Corleone in The Godfather wasn't just tough, it became a warfare today. His overall performance is famous, but again, in 1972, the idea of casting him almost derailed the entire manufacturing Paramount Pictures wanted. A bankable, famous person, someone like Jack Nicholson, Warren Beatty, Robert Redford, or Ryan O'Neal, Pacino. At the time becomes lightly acknowledged he had simplest one movie. Credit and a strong theater historical past, however, that wasn't sufficient for the studio. They didn't see him as a main guy, they wanted someone taller, someone who in shape the Hollywood picture of a celeb, Francis Ford Coppola notion, otherwise he had visible Pacino. On Broadway, and believed he become ideal for Michael Corleone, he noticed something in Pacino that nobody else did: the ability to capture Michael's transformation from an innocent struggle hero to a ruthless mafia boss. Coppola refused to backtrack, leading to endless fights with the studio. At one point, Paramount examined James Caan for the position of Michael and gave Coppola an ultimatum: Pacino should live. However, best if Caan performed Sonny Corleone even after filming started out. The studio nevertheless wasn't convinced. They watched early photos of Pacino's overall performance and wanted him long past Coppola knew he needed to show Pacino's worth. And fast he determined to movie the eating place assassination scene in advance than planned. It became a pivotal moment. Michael's first real step into the Mafia International. Whilst the Paramount executives saw it, everything changed. They, in the end, understood what Coppola had seen all alongside Pacino wasn't just suitable, he became unforgettable from that moment on. His location in the movie becomes secure. That role changed everything for him. His overall performance earned him an Academy Award nomination for Nice Assisting Actor, despite the fact that many believed he ought to have been in the high-quality actor category. He boycotted the ceremony in protest, refusing to attend because he felt sidelined, but even without the win, his profession skyrocketed. The Godfather grossed over $250 million in opposition to a $6 million finances one fine picture at the Oscars and made Pacino a celebrity. His portrayal of Michael turned into praised for its quiet intensity. The manner he may want to communicate a lot with only a look. That chilling stare at some stage in the eating place scene became one in all cinema's maximum iconic moments. However, getting there wasn't clean. Pacino later admitted he changed into terrified throughout filming. The stress changed into overwhelming. The steady threat of being fired loomed over him. making it difficult to cognizance. He even suffered extreme ankle damage while filming a getaway scene. The ache becomes so bad he needed injections just to maintain going. Strangely, his first response to the injury changed into alleviation. He conceived it might get him fired, which at the time seemed simpler than coping with the pressure of proving himself. Cop knew how plenty. Pacino became struggling and died everything he ought to assist. He adjusted the filming timetable to give him more time to settle into the role. He also leaned on Diane Keaton, Pacino's co-megastar, who have become his emotional assist on set. She helped lighten the mood, and that they often laughed together after difficult scenes. Pacino could later say that, without Cop's belief in him, he may never have made it. Via In Serp 1973, Pacino starred as Frank Serpico, aerial existence NYPD officer who blew the whistle on corruption within the branch. Pacino prepared for the function by means of spending time with the actual Serpico jetting to know how he spoke and moved. He desired to apprehend the deep experience of isolation that came with standing against his fellow officers the production confronted. Demanding situations from the start. At the start, John G. Elson changed into set to direct. However, he became changed through loomed simply before filming. The shoot occurred in the summertime of 1973 with real New York streets presenting the backdrop. The heat combined with Lumet's rapid-paced directing fashion created a severe ecosystem on set. Pacino's performance earned him an Academy Award nomination and a Golden Globe win with a price range of just a few million, though the film made nearly $30 million on the box office over the years. Serpico have become a defining movie within the crime style, and Pacino's portrayal remains one of the most effective in his career. A decade later, Pacino took on one of his most iconic roles in Scarface, 1983. He played Tony Montana, a Cuban refugee who rises to strength in Miami's drug alternate. The movie, directed through Brian De Palma and written by using Oliver Stone, turned into stimulated by means of the 1932 classic but became up to date for the excess and violence of the 1980s. Tony Montana is brutal, formidable, and unrelenting from the instant he arrives within the United States. He has decided to take something he desires. Pacino threw himself into the function, crafting each detail of Tony's persona. His accessory, his mannerisms, even the manner he held a gun, all have been carefully deliberate throughout filming. He suffered a severe burn on his hand after grabbing the barrel of a hot gun. The injury not on time production, but confirmed his willpower to making the man or woman feel real. The movie faced backlash upon release. Critics attacked its extreme violence and heavy use of profanity. The Cuban community in Miami additionally protested its portrayal of immigrants, forcing elements of the film. Toby shot in Los Angeles as a substitute. The controversy did not prevent Scarface from locating in target market. It grossed $66 million worldwide and became a cult traditional. Tony Montana's upward push and fall serve as a cautionary tale about greed and electricity. Lines like, say howdy to my little pal, became mythical, and the films have an impact on stretched into hip-hop, video games, and pop culture over the years. Scarface changed into diagnosed as one of the best gangster movies ever made. In 1992, Pacino played a completely unique type of character in Scent of a Woman, a role that subsequently gained him an Academy Award. For satisfactory actor, he starred as Lieutenant Colonel Frank Slade, a blind and sour Army veteran who spends a weekend with a young prep school pupil named Charlie Sim, played by means of Chris O'Donnell. The movie follows their journey as Slade teaches Charlie about life while secretly scuffling with his personal inner darkness. To put together for the position, Pacino wore opaque contact lenses to dam his imaginative and prescient hues decane, even if the cameras were not rolling, to make his blindness feel natural. His performance balanced humor and intensity, making Slade certainly one of the most memorable characters of his career. One of the film's most famous moments is the tango scene where Slade, regardless of his blindness, leads a younger female in a super dance. While Scarface hit theaters in 1983, it triggered an uproar. Critics attacked it for extreme violence, regular profanity, and what they noticed as a glorification of drug way of life. The chainsaw scene, which takes place just 20 minutes into the film, taken aback audiences. Some, like writers Kurt Vonnegut and John Irving, even walked out of screenings. However, the debate didn't prevent their many Cuban immigrants in Miami protested, arguing that the film portrayed them as criminals and drug traffickers. They believed it bolstered dangerous stereotypes turning their community into the face of Miami's drug exchange. Even Hollywood insiders saw hassle. Coming, Martin Scorsese reportedly warned Stephen Bauer, who performed Tony Montana's quality buddy, that Hollywood would hate the movie because it exposed their own corruption. However, it changed into a primary fulfillment, grossing over $134 million worldwide in opposition to a $31 million price range. Pacino's overall performance becomes celebrated, and his person's signature word, have become immediately recognizable. His Oscar win became visible, a lengthy past due rewarding an actor who had already brought some of the greatest performances in film records through the years. The film observed a second life. It had become a cult traditional, in particular in hip-hop and Latino communities, wherein Tony Montana symbolized ambition and defiance, that upward thrust. In recognition, simplest-fueled debates: did Scarface warn towards extra, or Hadid emerge as a symbol of the very aspect it condemned? Even now, the dialogue maintains, proving that some films never lose their effect years later. Pacino took on some other controversial function in HBO's Pacino, a 2018 film approximately the Penn State child abuse scandal. It targeted on essential weak duration in 2011. While Jupno, a soccer legend with over 400 career wins, saw his recognition destroyed. His former assistant Jerry Sandusky had been arrested for sexually abusing younger boys. Sandusky was later sentenced to 30 to 60 years in jail. The film raised one haunting question: how a good deal did Pacino's overall performance captured a person torn among his football empire and the growing scandal in a single scene. Pacino recalls a 2001 file from an assistant coach who had visible Sandusky molesting a boy in a team shower. Pacino informed university officials, but in no way accompanied up that selection. Overshadowed the whole thing, he had built. Critics praised Pacino for showing Paterno's internal struggle, but the film itself left audiences divided. Some saw Pino as a scapegoat, while others believed he had turned a blind eye. Over 300 of his former players protested the film, claiming it unfairly destroyed his legacy. Simply months after being fired from Penn State, Pacino died of lung cancer at age 85. The film failed to take a facet. Alternatively, it forced visitors to determine whether Pino become responsible of state of no activity or genuinely stuck in a device that failed everybody. Pacino stepped into another debatable role in 2013 with HBO's Phil Spector. The film explored the existence of the legendary track manufacturer recognized for revolutionizing sound in the 1960s and for his weird non-public lifestyles. In 2003, Spector became accused of murdering actress Lana Clarkson at his mansion. The movie targeted on his relationship with defense legal professional Linda. Kenny Bowden performed with the aid of Helen Mirren, who wondered whether he could get a fair trial, unlike an ordinary court docket drama. Phil Spector did not focus on the criminal battle. Alternatively, it confirmed a man dropping control of his personal narrative. Turned into he a misunderstood genius, or was he precisely what the world believed? The film never gave a clean answer, leaving audiences as conflicted as they have been. While the case first made headlines off-screen, Pacino faced his own actual existence. Drama. In 2011, he discovered he'd misplaced $50 million. His longtime accountant, Kenneth Starr, were jogging a Ponzi scheme. Pacino, who had spent many years' incomes millions in keeping with movie, was almost wiped out. Overnight, Starr had built a recognition. Isa relied on monetary guide coping with money for Hollywood's biggest stars backstage. He have been stealing from them. While the scheme collapsed, he became arrested and sentenced to 7 years in jail. Pino, back from a high-priced European vacation, most effective to examine the money, become long past in his memoir. Sonny Boy, he defined the instant he found out the complete quantity of the betrayal. I had $50 million, after which I had nothing to recover. Pacino took on unexpected projects he starred in. Jack and Jill, a movie he later admitted he handiest did for the paycheck he took, speaking in engagements, or even appeared in commercials. He known as that time a loopy montage of legal guidelines. However, inside the seas it taught him resilience even. On the pinnacle of Hollywood, no one is untouchable. Al Pacino has by no means been just an actor. He has always been a storyteller, someone who appears for meaning in the roles he performs and the initiatives he is taking on. His passion for appearing goes past acting. He needs to apprehend the craft, smash it down, and share it with others. That power led him to step in the back of the Digicom. His first predominant assignment as a director changed into Searching for Richard in 1996. This changed into no longer a conventional Movie it changed into a documentary, a performance, and a non-public journey. Ali non Pacino wanted to reveal why Shakespeare nevertheless matters. He selected Richard III, a play approximately strength and ambition, and set out to show that its issues still resonate. The movie actions between one-of-a-kind patterns. There are dramatized scenes from Richard III with actors like Alex Stanley Baldwin, Winona Ryder, and Kevin Spacey. There are interviews with scholars and actors together with Kenneth Branagh and Vanessa Redgrave. The film changed into a success. It received the Directors Guild of America Award for Outstanding Directorial Success in a Documentary. In 1997, critics praised it for making Shakespeare accessible and engaging. Peter Travers defined it as a wonderful adventure and outrageous, amusing. 4 years later, in 2000, he directed Chinese Coffee. This turned into a very specific kind of venture. It became not about records or literature, it became approximately two men sitting in a room talking. The film was adapted from a play through Ira Lewis, and Pacino had carried out it on degree in 1992. The tale follows Harry Lavine, a suffering author, played by using Pacino, and Jake Mannheim, a photographer, played by way of Jerry Orbach, set in 1982 in Greenwich Village. It takes region over a unmarried nighttime as the two buddies have a protracted and excessive verbal exchange. It premiered at the Torrey de Movie Festival in 2000 and turned into later screened on the Tribeca Film Festival. It did no longer reach a huge target market, but those who saw it favored its honesty. It became ultimately launched on DVD in 2007 as part of a field set titled Pacino: An Actor's Vision, giving more humans the threat to see this hidden gem. Beyond directing, Pacino has spent years shaping the subsequent technology of actors. When you consider that 2000 he has been co-president of the Actor Studio, alongside Ellen Burstyn and Harvey Keitel. This isn't just any acting college, it's far the vicinity in which a number of the best actors, in records trained. Pacino himself studied there. Below legends like Lee Strasberg and Charlton, he has continually stated that the studio changed his life. Now he helps it do the identical for others. For Pacino, the Actor Studio is an area wherein actors can take dangers. It isn't always approximately reputation or fulfillment. It's about pushing yourself, about learning without fear. Lots of Hollywood's greatest capabilities, which includes James Dean, Marilyn Monroe, Paul Newman, and Jack Nicholson. Got here from this faculty. Pacino continues to guide young actors through workshops and discussions. He does now not just teach approach, he encourages them to study, to assume, to explore philosophy and literature. He believes that acting is not just about performance, it is about know-how life. Al Pacino has spent an entire life inside the highlight, but in relation to marriage, he never took that step, no matter excessive profile. Relationships with Diane Keaton, Beverly D'Angelo, and Kathleen Quinlan here remained. A lifelong bachelor, in his 2024 memoir, Sonny Boy, he defined why he no way saw marriage as something that might help his lifestyles. He even called it an entrance to the pain train. His perspectives on commitment have been shaped by using private fears, and no relationship ever changed that. His time with Diane Keaton is certainly one of Hollywood's most famous love memories. They met at the same time as filming The Godfather in 1972. She observed him charming but additionally mysterious. Their relationship lasted on and off for years, but through 1990 Heaton had enough. Whilst filming The Godfather Part 3, she gave him an ultimatum: commit, or it's over. Pacino refused, and she or he walked away. Another severe dating got here in advance with Kathleen Quinlan. They met in 1979 at a celebration hosted by appearing Coach Lee Sturg. The two have been inseparable for years, even visiting across Europe together. Pacino later admitted that Quinlan changed into the closest he ever came to marriage. However, in the long run, he subsidized out. It became a choice that left him heartbroken for years, though he in no way married fatherhood have become critical a part of his life. In June 2023, at the age of 83, he welcomed his fourth baby, a son named Roman, with 29 Tessa 12 months old Nolala. The information stunned many, mainly after reports surfaced that Pacino asked a paternity test he truly didn't consider. He may want to still have youngsters while the consequences confirmed. Roman become his. He embraced fatherhood. Again, Pacino and Alala started courting in 2020 for the duration of the pandemic. but their courting wasn't public till April 2022. Their 54 12-months age gap drew interest, though. Alala became recognized for dating older guys' men. She have been related to MC Jagger and Clint Eastwood. Inside the Past Roman is her first infant. However, Pacino already had 3 twins, Anton, James, and Olivia. Rose, born in 2001 with Beverly D'Angelo and his eldest daughter, Julie Marie, born in 1989 with appearing train Jantarant, turning into a father once more. At 83, changed his existence. His own father deserted him while he became younger, and he by no means desired to repeat that cycle. Even after setting apart from Alala, he remained worried. He connects with Roman via video calls, and the two even play harmonica collectively at 84. Pacino is still running in 2021. He starred in House of Gucci. And his upcoming initiatives prove he's no plans to graduate down. One of the most expected is Modi, a movie about Italian artist Amedeo Modigliani, directed through Johnny Depp. The film follows 3 extreme days in Modigliani's lifestyles as he struggles along with his artwork and private demons. Pacino also starring in The Ritual, a horror film based on the genuine tale of Emma Schmidt's exorcisms. The film, set for launch on April 18, 2025, follows 2 clergymen performing dangerous exorcisms, even ass fighting. Their very own past that he's involved in Billy Knight and killing Castro, proving his passion for storytelling is as strong as ever. For Pacino, appearing isn't just a career, it is something that saved him, going via the hardest moments of his existence. He frequently says it saved his existence. His life has had its proportion of struggles. In 2020, a close to demise, revel in modified his outlook for all time. All through an infection, he lost his pulse and needed to be revived by paramedics. After that, he became satisfied there has been no afterlife. It became a perception he shared brazenly at this stage. In life, Pacino remains lively. Nevertheless, a father, and nonetheless reflecting on the whole thing he has been through, he in no way accompanied the conventional course, but that never stopped him from living a full life. Whether or not on screen or off, he stays one of the maximum captivating figures in Hollywood.